The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to get an opportunity to share an extraordinary presentation with you. We're going to get a chance to share with you the full offering of the OPTAVIA program and business opportunity. Tonight you're going to get a chance to hear from an extraordinary individual, an individual that has helped pioneer the business blueprint and has helped to create the compensation plan that has been a major driver with the opportunity to help other people to get healthier and helping other people to do well by doing that. My experience with OPTAVIA started 10 years ago. I was a business coach, I was a business consultant, and I was working with entrepreneurs to help them to thrive in business. The problem was that I wasn't thriving in my own health. So I came to OPTAVIA not looking for an opportunity as you may have, or maybe you're just exploring the opportunity because you're getting healthier with the program, or maybe you just saw this on social media or somebody gave you an invite and you're just checking it out. It's okay. We come from all different places to come explore this OPTAVIA vehicle. My experience was that I ended up losing 100 pounds in the program and it radically transformed my physical health. And what that did was it made me a walking billboard for health. So as I was talking to some of my business coaching clients, they were asking me about what I was doing. And as I was referring them to my coach said, David, would you be interested in becoming a coach? And I wasn't interested in coaching, just like maybe some of you may not think of yourself as a health coach. You may not be very healthy yourself right now. You may be on your journey, or you may just not have any training or background. What I can tell you is that it's okay, because 10 years ago, I made the decision to become a coach because of the reasons that you're going to hear tonight. The reasons outweighed my fear of not knowing enough. The reasons outweighed my concerns or my concepts and my limiting beliefs. And now I've had a chance to help quite a few people to get healthier, and it's made such an impact on my life. It's just such a joy to be able to share this with you tonight. And you're going to hear a little bit more about how that took place from our guest speaker tonight. But before we get to our guest speaker, I want to introduce you to a good friend and one of the top leaders in OPTAVIA. Her name is Susan, and she's one of our certified OPTAVIA coaches, and Susan's got a great story to share. Susan, would you share with everybody a little bit more about why you got involved in OPTAVIA?
Absolutely. Well, David, thank you for having me, and I'm so honored to kick this program off tonight because Dan Bell means so much to me. Not only did he create this brilliant business model that has transformed me and my family's life, but he has also been a role model, show how he shows up as a servant leader, as a father, as a husband, mentor. And so I'm incredibly grateful. So my story began when I got my MBA from the University of Texas. There's Texans out there, hook 'em horns. And I started in the healthcare industry. I was in marketing. And I soon noticed that a sedentary lifestyle was not for me. I gained a lot of weight, had stress-related illnesses, and was sick all the time. And I started noticing that inability to dream anymore because I was locked into that 3% pay raise. And I couldn't see anybody's job that I wanted. So I didn't see much of a future. And I felt like a cog in the wheel, that what I did, I had a role, a function in my company, but I didn't make an impact. I wasn't significant. So when I had the opportunity to start my own business, I started a yoga and corporate wellness business. It helped me quite a bit in my stressful times. But I ran into some limitations because there are only so many, the structure of that kind of business, there's only so many hours in the day. And I became a stressed out yoga teacher trying to fit in, enough people in a room, enough people in a day. And I had no flexibility because if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. And my family needed my income. So I couldn't, I missed a lot of my children's softball and soccer and basketball games because I was working on the weekends. And you don't get that time back. And so when a friend of mine who was a physician and a nutritionist brought this to me, I was not sure, but I did know that the program was credible. It was turnkey, so I didn't have to get a nutrition degree or an expensive certification. I had the tools that I could just go right into and serve people. And I also knew that my husband's an accountant and finance guy, and he looked at the business model and thought, this is a sound business model, and for the investment, he says it's a no-brainer. So it has been I've been 10 years, and working from home and being able to work with people all over the country has transformed me as a person. And it has been wonderful for my husband and my kids to see me doing what I love to do. In fact, my son saw me on the phone, heard me on the phone one time early on. He goes, "Mom, you really love doing this, don't you?" And so that's kind of cool. And I get to work with people that are growing and learning and very courageous on their own journeys of transformation. And whenever I get discouraged, I just think to myself, I go, can I help one human being with what I've got to offer? And the answer is always absolutely yes. So thank you, David.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing your amazing story. We're going to go over to Jamil over in California. And Jamil's got a great story as well. And he came out of the healthcare industry as a pharmaceutical representative to get into the health world. And I can't wait for him to share a little bit more about why he did it. Jamil?
Yes. Can you hear me? All right. Well, thank you so much for having me tonight. It's always hard going after Susan. I've been doing it for years. And, Dan Bell is on, and Dan's been such an integral part of my growth and development over the last 7 years. So to me, this is a blessing. When I started with this company 7 years ago, I was not looking for an opportunity to build a business. I grew up here in Southern California as an athlete. I was a football player and a sprinter and track and field, and went on and got a football scholarship to play in college. So I was used to being fast, and I was used to being fit. And once I graduated, it started to become a little bit difficult. And I did get into pharmaceutical sales. I loved it. It was exactly what I wanted to do. But when you give a guy like me a free car, and you give a guy like me an expense account, and all we can do is every single week is just entertain, I took that to the maximum. And so quickly, my weight shot up over 200 pounds, which was really strange for me. So, this program, I was just really looking to regain my physical health. And I thought that was the only thing that was kind of wrong with me back then. And within just a short amount of time, I went from over 200 pounds back down to where I was in high school. And around that time, I started thinking, wow, other people got to really know about this. And I had a chance to look into the business a little bit more, like I know so many people around the country are looking into it now. And I started to see people that had the things that I really wanted. I wanted to do well by doing well. That's where my heart was. But I just didn't know that I had the capability or opportunity to do that. And then I started seeing folks who, were living their days the way that they wanted to. I craved that. I started seeing folks that had the relationships that I wanted. I craved that. I started seeing people who didn't have the same conflicts as I had. If I'm going to go out there and do very well every single day, but I felt guilty for earning the income that I earned. I wanted to bring something together to where I can go and serve my community. I can go and serve the world, but not feel guilty about living in abundance too. And so I just caught the vision, and it was amazing to me. And then person after person, as we just started helping them and serving them, I started realizing, gosh, we're helping a lot of people, but the main person that was getting help was me. See, I needed to grow in so many areas, especially when it comes to a healthy mind. And I don't know if folks are out there that have ever had the propensity of sort of beating themselves up or just not feeling like they're ever reaching their potential. That was me. And with having, the business model, with having the mentorship team, with having people breathe life into me, has allowed me over the last 7 years to just pay that forward and go help other people. And so I would say today looks much, much different. And, from a guy that started with just wanting to lose a little bit more weight to seeing everything transform and see people transform in that wake has been the biggest blessing and honor I could have ever had in my life. So this thing has revolutionized my life and my family's life. And I'm just so grateful.
I love it. Jamil, I just love the fact that you're here, talking about this amazing business that you've built and your daughter is playing in the background. That's a true family man, living the dream, brother. I appreciate you coming on and taking time away from your family. Well, I get the pleasure to now introduce our special guest speaker. Dan is a 30-year veteran of the relationship marketing industry. His resume includes building organizations of over 1,000 people in North America, Europe, and South America. In addition, he has performed as a consultant to companies and an in-demand trainer and speaker. He's addressed over 250,000 people in 8 countries and then 3 continents during his career. He was responsible for helping to create this innovative coaching business model that mirrored our co-founder, Dr. Wayne Anderson's vision of creating a professional coaching organization for both healthcare professionals as well as certified coaches. As an independent field leader, he was able to create this business blueprint that all of us have really enjoyed because it's been an amazing, amazing business blueprint because it's so unique. And tonight he's going to get a chance to share with you 10 reasons of why he believes that you should explore OPTAVIA Coach Opportunity. Dan, welcome to our webinar.
Hey, thank you for inviting me on to this webinar tonight. And it's always a pleasure to be able to share. And Susan, Jamil, you guys just hit it out of the park. I mean, coming from your heart, you're so authentic. And it's so wonderful to see the success that you've had personally, but also how many people that you both have touched. I mean, thousands and thousands of people. So it's my pleasure to be on this tonight. You know what, I've got a little bit of a PowerPoint that I want to share, David. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Give me a second just to kind of set it up. And you should be seeing a little bit of the Mojave Desert here in a second. Do you all see it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Now you should be able to see my slides, right?
Great.
Okay, cool. All right, great. So we'll go ahead and get started. So first thing I want to say is welcome to all of you that are here tonight. I know that a lot of people from different backgrounds. Some of you are coaches already. Some of you are clients. You've done really well in our program. You're thinking about coaching. Some of you may be healthcare professionals. Some of you may be entrepreneurs looking for a great business. And if we were to have a conversation, if I was sitting down at a table over a cup of coffee with you tonight, I would ask you, why are you attending, why are we talking? Why are you attending this webinar? And I think that's a really important question because, where your orientation is going to determine what you get out of what I'm going to share with you tonight. I know some of you might be just curious. You might want to just kind of checking us out. And I know some of you are very serious. But what I am going to ask you to do in the next 20 minutes or so is just to pay attention, as if just you and I are having this conversation, because I think you'll get a lot more out of it if I can just ask you to give me that little bit of time. And David already mentioned that what I want to share with you tonight, it's really the business of health coaching, but I want to talk about 10 reasons why you might want to consider coaching, because we're having a lot of fun. We're making a major impact in the world. So the first one I want to talk about is our story and our credibility as a company. One of the things that attracted me to OPTAVIA, and back in the day, before there was an OPTAVIA, back before there was a Take Shape for Life, which was the predecessor company to OPTAVIA, there was a company called Medifast. Medifast had a reputation of being one of the premier companies, primarily in the meal replacement business, primarily working with physicians and their patients. That's how they started. And they were a pioneer in that industry. They've been around now well over 30 years. But the thing I was attracted to by that company was the science background, the credibility, the fact that they were a U.S. company, they manufactured their own products here in the United States, had this really rich credibility. What they didn't have was an up-to-date distribution system. And that's when I had the opportunity to meet the gentleman you see on the right there, Dr. Wayne Anderson. Dr. A has become one of my closest friends. He's one of the most brilliant people I know. He was first in his class in med school, 10th board certified critical care physician. He's a New York Times best-selling author. And when he intersected with Medifast, he was practicing, he was a practicing physician and taking care of the very sickest people. And what he was doing, he was keeping them alive, but he wasn't helping them thrive in their health. And he looked at the same time simultaneously over the 19 years that he was in practice, he saw this epidemic of obesity that came upon our country. And what he felt like is, overweight, obesity contributes to about 80% of the diseases out there. In fact, it's the direct cause of many diseases. And he thought, I'm practicing medicine way too far downstream. What can I do upstream? And what can I do to help create health in this country? And that's where he came up with this great, hairy, audacious goal of doing something that would really impact the lives of not just the patients that he was dealing with, but really the whole country. Instead of working on the sick care side of things, what he wanted to do was to create health for people. And that's the second reason why I think people might want to be, you might want to consider becoming a coach with us, because of our vision and the mission that we are on, not only to get America healthy, but now to get the world healthy. When you're thinking about, if you're ever thinking about starting a business or going into business, it's important that you are linked with a company that's substantial, that's been around, where Medifast is a New York Stock Exchange company. This company is very, very solid, financially very, very solid. And not only that, but it's not just the fact that we have a company, we have this mission that's very significant, that is bigger than ourselves, that we can latch on to, that we can really help people in their lives. And I know many of you who are clients, you've experienced that. You've already seen the transformation. You heard from Jamil and from Susan earlier, and also from Dave, as how this program, how this company has affected them. So our mission is real. We're very serious about it, and we love it. It's the thing that's the passion that drives us. So that's the second reason. What's the third reason? The third reason is that we have a really cool group of people that we hang around with. There's over 20,000 OPTAVIA coaches now in the United States. We come from all backgrounds, all age groups, all different walks of life. A lot of the coaches are folks that first got healthy on the program, as David talked about. He wasn't looking for a business, but he got healthy on the program and then decided to pay it forward. Jamil, the same. And so a lot of our coaches come from that orientation. They heard about us first in terms of wanting to get healthy. We also have a lot of healthcare professionals and fitness professionals that, our business model and the services that we offer actually are very compatible, come right alongside with what they need to help their patients get healthier, and as well as to help their clients who are interested in getting healthier, get healthier. So we have folks from those backgrounds. And then of course we have entrepreneurs that are looking for a great business, looking for something that's significant in their lives that they can love and they can do. And the fourth reason that I would suggest that you might want to consider being with us, being a part of us as a health coach, is what I call the full offer. And the full offer is not simply the offer to get healthy. It's what we call the trilogy: healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances, because they're all interconnected. A person can be healthy physically, but if they're stressed out in their job, they don't like what they do, if they don't like their boss, if they don't feel they're paid enough, if they don't have meaning and fulfillment, they're not healthy. If they're financially, they're behind the 8 ball, they're about, 30 days from bankruptcy, they're not very healthy. As you're looking at this, what we can share with you is the option that you have in your life to actually have balance in all three of these areas and to be able to perform in all three of these areas to the degree that you want to do that. And when we look at health, let's look at that first part of the trilogy, healthy body. And I think if you've been a client on our program, you realize this, but if you're new tonight and you're an entrepreneur or you're a healthcare professional and you're looking at this for the first time, what I would tell you is that, helping somebody reach a healthy body is just the first part of our program. We are not we're not a weight loss or a diet company. Diets actually don't work. 80% of the people that go on diets will regain their weight within 2 years. So it's not a very long-term strategy for health. And what we're about is helping people reach a healthy weight if they're overweight, but then beyond that, learn healthy habits to continue on to create the health that they want. And that's the big significant part of what we do. So when we work with a client, we actually look at their macro habits that they're dealing with. We actually look at these 6 areas. They're not only their weight, but their eating habits, how they hydrate, how much water they drink. We look at the level of activity, motion, exercise. We look at their sleep, the quality, the quantity of their sleep. We look at what kind of stress they're under and how we can reduce that stress. And we also look at their environment, the surroundings. And of course, on the health journey that we have for our clients, we have these 4 components. And this, by the way, is the thing that separates us from anything else out there. Nobody else has this. Okay, so the first line that we have with a new client who wants to get healthy on our program is our health coach. And if you decide to become a health coach, that means it would be you. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about what that entails and what the advantages of that are. But we actually act as a guide. We're not a counselor to folks. We come alongside somebody, we support them and encourage them and help them, guide them through this system that we have. But so that's number 1, is the health coach. Second thing we have is our lifestyles program. It's called the Habits of Health. It's self-taught. But see, as we help somebody reach a healthy weight, they're learning healthy habits so that they can, as I said, carry that on in their life and become healthier in their life. We also have this robust community, this optimal health community, which is maybe the biggest and most profound thing that we offer a client, because it's made up of clients and coaches that have a like-mindedness of wanting to get healthy and wanting to share that health with other people. And then, of course, the 4th component that we have is our structured eating program, where we have our fuelings that OPTAVIA produces that are made in the United States and in the factory that OPTAVIA owns. And so when you combine these things, we get absolutely incredible results. I mean, they are fantastic. And I'm going to go through just a couple quick pictures, not tell too much stories, but these are either people that I've worked with directly or people that are colleagues of mine. So here we have Ron and Shirley. That's their after picture. Here we have Josh and Rhonda, 180 pounds later. That's their picture. Here's Myron and Linda. Here's the results that they've got. Here's Nick. Here's Nick 7 weeks later. And here's Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe lost 123 pounds in 9 months. And just an amazing story to see the transformation. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is Dominic and Rita. They were one of my first clients years ago. And Dominic was trying to lose weight exercising. And he was working out 5 days a week and he gained 5 pounds. He didn't lose any weight because he didn't exercise his knife and a fork. He didn't know the nutritional component, which was 80% of it. And Rita was about 30 pounds overweight. And this was then about 5 months later. So you take that back, that was a number of years ago. But here's where they are today. And where they are today is they're healthier today. And that's what this is about. It's not only reaching a healthy weight, but it's learning healthy habits to keep it off. And that's what we get to share as health coaches with other people. So we know that we have predictable transformation. If people follow the protocols of our program, if they engage in the habits of health, if they get involved within our community, and if they work with their health coach, great things can happen. We know it's predictable. So that's in the trilogy, that is the component of health. And that's where a lot of people start with us. But as I said earlier, we also have these 2 other areas, healthy mind, healthy body. And when we talk about healthy mind, you know that this is a chaotic world that we live in. And a lot of people are under a lot of stress. They're not feeling great. And you know, they're looking for answers. And what we talk about when we talk about having a healthy mind is organizing our lives around what matters most. I love what Jamil had to say about his family. That's what we're talking about here, is really having the balance in life to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and to have that clarity of mind and that consciousness to become the person that you really want to be. But having the ability to do that, because you can think that, but if you don't have the other components, healthy body or healthy finances, that's hard to do as well. So the third component has to do with healthy finances. And you know, I'm going to get into some of the trends in just a second, what's going on in our country. But we define healthy finances as living an abundant life. It's not necessarily an income level or a lifestyle level. It's really meeting life on your terms and having the resources to do the things you want to do, to have the experiences, and to achieve the success that you have. And for some people, that might be $5,000 a month. For other people, it might be $50,000 a month. It's different for everybody. But what we offer, and what you're going to see in a few minutes, is that we offer this vehicle that enables people to achieve the dreams that they're willing to go for. It's not a guarantee, of course, because it is up to each one of us. But it's an opportunity. It's a vehicle in order for somebody to achieve that. So the next reason, the fifth reason I would tell you, is that we have this perfect storm. We are at the intersection of two tremendous industries, and they're both growth industries. I mean, if you're going to go into a business, for example, you wouldn't want to get into the DVD business today, right? Or the cassette tape business, or the envelope business, or the buggy whip business. You would want a business that's on a growth trajectory, where you've got tremendous solutions for people, that you help meet people where they are. And so we sit at this intersection of this growing health and wellness industry, as well as the industry of what I'll call the home-based business industry. You know, there's so many trends today of people working out of their house. They might work for companies and they work out of their house, but a lot of people want to be able to have the independence to work for themselves, create their own hours, and do what they want to do. And so our business model covers those two things beautifully. Now, let me talk about some trends today and how we reconcile with those trends, how we help people who are struggling. We know, everybody knows, everybody watching this knows that there's a health epidemic. You'd have to be hiding under a rock not to know that. And these statistics come from the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta. And you look at it, almost 71% of Americans are overweight. That means they have a body mass index of over 25. We also look at almost 40% of our neighbors, 40% are considered obese. That means their BMI is over 30. And it's a very unhealthy thing. And, you know, I pulled these slides from the CDC. This shows the prevalence of self-reported obesity in the United States. And I'm just going to show you the trends just over the last 7 years. This is 2011. And by the way, the darker the color, that means the higher percentage of people in that state that are obese. So this is 2011. That's 13, I'm sorry, 2015 and 2017. So you can see, as a country, we are getting heavier. We're getting less well. This creates a tremendous strain on our healthcare system, which is actually our sick care system, because the time somebody gets into that system, they're already sick. It creates tremendous stress on an individual and limitations. I know a lot of people that are heavy, they stop doing the things that they want to do. They air travel, they don't want those extenders, they can't fit in the seats. I mean, their lives are shortened because of the effects of obesity. And, you know, and when you think about that, when somebody is overweight or obese, they start this cascade of really negative things that none of us want, right? From insulin resistance to metabolic syndrome to type 2 diabetes to cardiovascular disease to joint disease to certain types of cancer. All of these things are a manifestation of overweight, and that overweight contributes to. As I said, overweight contributes to 80% of the diseases out there, makes them worse, and heart disease and so forth. So none of us want that, but so that's one of the things that's out there. When you look at our market, you look at people who are struggling, we have a solution for them. Now, when you look at, switch to Healthy Mind, and you look at job satisfaction, now this survey is a little bit older. It came out in 2012, Forbes Wellbeing Survey. But it basically shows that very few people, a small percentage of people, really love what they do. It's only 19%. But 65% of the people that go to work every day, you know, their attitude is somewhere between ambivalence to hatred. I mean, they just don't like it. But they'll soldier on, even though they may not like it. You know, they may not like their boss, they may not like their work, they may not like their hours, they might not like their pay, but they'll continue to do it. And I think it's so sad for somebody to spend at least a third of their life doing something that is not fulfilling. And it is sad. And then, of course, that contributes to stress. I mean, stress is a major factor. Susan talked about stress. And when you think of all the stressors out there, again, the world's chaotic. It's moving so much faster than it used to. It's hard for people sometimes to get just the mindfulness of just being able to relax and have a breath, right? But when you look at one of the big triggers of stress is financial stress. It is a major factor. In fact, you know, there's a divorce rate in this country of 50-some%, low 50s, and most clergymen and family therapists will tell you that money is the primary driver of that. It's not the abundance of money; it's the lack of money. And again, there's an issue, a problem, that we can come alongside somebody and give them an option, give them an alternative. We also know that 80% of Americans are pretty much broke. They live paycheck to paycheck. They might look good, they might smell good, they might drive a nice car or live in a good looking house. But when it comes down to their finances, they are just at the brink. And if something were to happen to them, if they were to lose their job, they would be in financial jeopardy. And that is a very scary thing. So people are looking for options. If you look at savings, for a lot of people, you know, 19% of us don't have any savings. That's not good. 44%, you know, if they had an emergency of over $400, they would not be able to pay for it with cash. And 61% have less than $1,000 in savings. We live in the most abundant country in the world, but yet look at how people actually live month to month. We have a solution for that. We can give those people options. When you look at retirement is a freight train about ready to hit a brick wall. It is a crisis that a lot of people are not yet talking about. But you know, the Social Security Trust Fund is supposed to go bankrupt by 2034. And of course, back when it was started, 10 people paid in for every one that drew. Today, 2 people pay in for every one that draws out, and our population is not growing at the same rate. So think about that. 33% don't have any savings. 23% have less than 10,000. How are you going to retire on 10,000? And so when you look down the road, they're saying, well, people need at least $1 million in assets in order to retire. And if you're a millennial, you're going to need a lot more than that. The other part of stress and on the financial side is the fact that there's really no such thing as job security anymore. I mean, that has long left the station a long time ago. It used to be that people would, you know, go to school, they'd get a degree, they'd go to work for a company, they'd work 40 years, they'd get a pension, they'd get their health care taken care of, and that was their life. But that world is long, long gone. And so it's up to the individual today to take care of those things like as I was talking about, your retirement, your well-being, the wealth that you want to create. And the last thing I want to talk about when we talk about finances is this concept of the time-money ratio. You know, some people have time, but they don't have any money. Maybe they're retired, maybe they're out of work, maybe they're working part-time. They have a lot of time, but they just don't have any money. And then there are people that have money, but they don't have any time. These are the folks that are working 80, 100 hours a week. They're working on the weekends. They're making money. They live in a nice house perhaps, but they don't have time for their families. They're way out of balance. And then there are some people that don't have any time or any money. They're working 2 or 3 jobs. They're low-paying jobs. They're just managing to keep their nose above the water. But what is that going to look like in 5 years or 10 years if you're in that situation? How is it going to change for you? It's just throwing more time and exchanging time for money. And then, of course, the fourth thing is there are some people that have time and money. And that's really a good place to be when you have time and money, because then you're able to meet life on your terms, to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and to have that kind of freedom. And I'm just going to challenge you tonight. If you're watching this tonight, where do you sit in that time-money ratio? How does that feel for you? So when we look at all these things, and I don't mean to paint a negative picture, I'm just looking at the trends and I'm looking at the reality. But what does that spell for us in OPTAVIA as a business person, as somebody that can really affect change? Well, all of those things for us spell opportunity. There are a lot of people that don't like being unhealthy. We have a solution for that. There are a lot of entrepreneurs or people that would love to be an entrepreneur, would love to be in their own business. They just don't know where to look. We have a solution for that. We also have, as I said, fitness professionals that have clients that are trying to get in good shape. We have this nutritional program and lifestyles program that is totally compatible with them, that'll help them give their clients what they want. And of course, physicians, chiropractors, nurse practitioners, all of those kinds of people have people that are coming to them because of their health, and they know immediately whether or not they know what their BMI is, and we can provide for them a program to help their overweight and obese patients get healthy, and at the same time provide a revenue stream for that practice. So some more trends real quick. Health and wellness coaches are one of the biggest trends today. It's a $4.2 trillion worldwide market. It's grown at almost 13% over the last 2 years. We know in the United States, for example, it's a $60 billion industry. 75 million Americans are actively trying to lose weight. We have a solution for that. They spend, by the way, about $800 per person per year. So I know I've embellished that part of this presentation, but those things are what I would say, look, if you're looking for a business, we have the perfect business. It's this perfect storm of marrying what people need with what we have. Okay, let's take a look at reason number 6, our model of business. And what I wanted to share with you is that when we created this, we wanted a blue ocean strategy, something that nobody else had done. So our business is revolutionary. It is extraordinary. It is unique. It is transformational. And what we've done is we've incorporated great elements from other business and we combined them into this business, which helped us create a new model of business. And in that new model of business, if you decide to become a coach, you can participate as a coach at 3 levels, okay? And they're each competencies that you learn, and I'll just briefly give you the overview of it. An OPTAVIA coach is someone that helps a person who is interested in improving their health, and they support them in that. So you acquire clients and support clients, and there's a set of money that's attached to those activities, to that competency. If you decide to work with other coaches, whether they be entrepreneurs, whether they be clients that decide to pay it forward as a coach, the company will pay you to help you work with that new OPTAVIA coach to help them perform at the competency of acquiring and supporting clients. So when they become successful, the company will pay you for supporting them. And then if you decide to build teams of clients and coaches and business coaches, then you become a business leader. So each one of these competencies are progressive. You learn them, and as you learn them, your income will increase. And it's not that unlike what you're already familiar with. I've got 3 industries here, and if you were participating in those industries, you could participate at a number of different levels. For example, if you were in the fitness industry, you could be a personal trainer, right? And you could have a clientele of clients, and you could earn a living that way. Or you might have a gym and where you're working with other personal trainers and you're supporting them, but you are learning a new competency. You're earning from their activity working with you. They're making money, you're making money. And then from there, you could duplicate that gym in your city. Maybe you have 2 or 3 of the same ones, or you could build a chain of gyms all across the country. It's the same industry, it's just how do you want to participate? And I could use that analogy in these other 2 areas. I'm not going to do that tonight, but I think you get the point. The difference is that what we do is we're not limited to a singular location or brick and mortar, because our business is virtual. We can grow it anywhere, literally in the world. We're operational here in the United States, but I'm going to Patagonia on Tuesday, and I'll be operating my business with my cell phone and my iPad while I'm down there. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so what does an OPTAVIA coach do? We provide coaching services to clients. We're a professional coaching service. We're not distributors. There's no wholesale buying in our business. That's not our business model. We're the antithesis of that. Coaches are not required to purchase any products to qualify or to qualify for compensation. That's not what this is. You're providing a service to people. Your clients order directly from the company through your website. They pay the company directly. The company pays you to support those clients. And when you also look at some of these advantages, obviously you're independent. You're not tied down to a territory. You control your time and schedule. And depending on what you want to do, you can earn part-time income, you can earn replacement or full-time income. And there's the potential in our business model, if you are so inclined, to develop larger businesses where you can create financial independence and freedom. The cost to get started are about $199. You don't have to have a lot of experience or any experience, because we have a full training program. And so that's what makes it somewhat, so actually not somewhat, it makes it easy kind of just fall in, because you learn as you go. We have a lot of fun. We deal with really great people, and it's a very exciting business to work in and to share with other people. So let's go to reason 7. Reason 7 has to do with income, cash flow, and what I call building equity. And when I was the chief architect of this compensation plan, and we had some very basic philosophies that we wanted to employ in this business model, knowing that people would be doing it part-time, full-time, people would be looking to create bigger income. So the whole fundamental issue here is pay people what they do, pay them based on their worth. Pay people, do the work. And I know a lot of times people feel they do their work in their careers, but they're not really paid what they're worth. And that's unfortunate. Here, since it's an entrepreneurial play, there's no guarantees, by the way. You could do this and not make any money, right? But with an opportunity, with a job, for example, there's an income floor and there's an income ceiling. With an opportunity, there's no floor and no ceiling. We give you within this model, the opportunity to grow to the degree that you're willing to grow. Since this business is profitable at every level, and one of the things that is available here, and which I'll just get into in a second, is the ability to create time freedom by developing a large business through duplication, and that business being able to leave it to your heirs. So there's this equity component to our business. So when people start out, you could start out, have a standalone business where you're supporting clients, and you'll make a good return for your time working with clients. In fact, some coaches have been able to develop enough of a clientele where they've been able to leave their jobs, and basically work for themselves. This is also true for a lot of healthcare professionals. They're primarily focused on working with clients or patients. The bigger play in our business, of course, is to do that as well as work with other coaches. And that's what which I call the expansion model, but it also expands our reach and our mission. And it's the way that we're going to get America healthy. And I've already covered this with you. I mentioned the 3 progressive competencies: health coach, business leader, and there's incomes attached to each of those. But what I want to have you just think about for a second is the third part. The third part is when you develop leaders in our business, you're actually multiplying your time. And it's kind of like the difference between having one restaurant in your town or having a chain of restaurants, for example. Because in our business, you can work for yourself by yourself, or you can do that and expand with other people by sharing this. So if you were working your OPTAVIA business 10 hours a week, and you worked with 10 other coaches that were spending 10 hours a week in their business, now you don't have your business open 10 hours, it's open 110 hours a week. And that's what makes the power of this business. I'm not going to go into the details of the compensation plan tonight, but if you understand this model, you can understand how wealth can be created through the model. And which gets me to the next part, which is called understanding in our model, what's the difference between having cash flow and equity, okay? So cash flow in our business really comes from acquiring clients. As clients come on board, you're supporting them. They're purchasing their OPTAVIA fuelings from OPTAVIA through your website. They pay the company pays you to support them. However, if you build a larger, if you expand your business working with other coaches, that income curve is slower, but once duplication kicks in, there is potentially more income and greater lifestyle and more freedom if you do that. You're actually working smarter versus working harder. So when we overlay those two curves, it looks like this. And that's where our business model is designed so you can get involved. If you put the work in, you can make money right away. And over time, you can create this business where your income is no longer dependent upon you and you can create freedom and time. So that's the income part. Let's go to reason number 8. And reason number 8 is that, we've been very successful in the United States. I think Dave mentioned that we've helped over 1 million people. Actually, my business has helped over 1 million people get healthy. And, we are at the best point we've ever been in the company. We've got tremendous leadership on the inside of our company. The company and the field work very closely together, and we're now about ready to take our model and our business to the world. And we're starting in the Asia Pacific market in the next quarter of this year. We're going to start in Hong Kong and Singapore. They are English-speaking countries. They're not that big, but they are the beachhead for all of Asia Pacific. And there's a lot of business, a lot of big countries with a lot of population in those markets. And we're getting ready to go there. We'll go all over the world eventually. But the thing is, you say, well, how does that relate to me? Well, one of the things that we have is our business is seamless, meaning that if you know people in these markets, you can bring them into the business. And you can profit from that without actually having to go over there. So many of you tonight, even if you're watching this for the first time, if you decide to become involved with us, you may not believe this, but you will have businesses that will be all over the world, and it's pretty darn exciting. So all that being said, the 9th reason is that the timing couldn't be better. If you are looking for a business, if you're looking for more time, if you're looking for more money, if you're looking for more health, if you're looking for a really cool group of people to be associated with, if you're looking for a mission bigger than yourself, you've come actually right time, the right place. And that's what makes it really, really exciting. So I want to put that into the last one. And the last one really is all about you and your dreams and your future. You see, it's interesting with people. Everybody has goals. Everybody has dreams. But what I have found, and I know from my personal experience back years and years ago, that, when my wife and I got married, I kind of promised her the world, right? And what happened, we had this big dream circle and a much smaller income circle. And what happened was, when they don't match up, you either increase the income or you decrease the dream, right? And what was happening, I did what most people did. I started to shrink down my expectations and my dreams. And I decided that wasn't for me. I wanted to be able to, live the life that I wanted. And also I was looking for was a vehicle. And that's, maybe the situation where you might want to have more time for your family. Maybe you have kids getting ready to go to college. Maybe you're getting ready to retire. Maybe your parents are ready to retire. Maybe you'd love to travel, see the world. I don't know. Maybe it's more income. Maybe it's a nicer house. Maybe it's having an impact in the world, changing people's lives, helping people get healthy. We have this, what I call psychic currency. One of the great things about being a coach is we get to experience how people transform, how it changes their life. And those are all really compelling reasons. But it really comes down to, like I asked in the beginning, the question was, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? And hopefully in those 10 reasons that I gave you tonight, there's, there are some that really resonate. I hope they all resonated with you, but there were some that maybe really resonated with you. And what I would recommend that you do as we close tonight is that you really think about where do you want to go from here? I mean, I've just shared with you a tremendous opportunity for you. And you may realize that, and you may not realize that. I hope you do realize that. And I'm not trying to be arrogant here. I'm just saying, when I look across the people in OPTAVIA and I see this legacy of success that's been left, and I look at all the families that have benefited from this, I look at all the people that have benefited physically from this, mentally from this, financially from this, I know this is really powerful. And so I would hope that tonight you really take this seriously, and that if it's the right thing to do for you, I would recommend you get back with the person who invited you here. Getting started in our business is very, very easy. They'll walk you through all of that to help you get started. The thing is, you'll be in business for yourself, but not by yourself, because you'll be attached to not only a business coach, the person that brought you in, but a team of people that will help you grow your business. And you'll have so much fun. You'll have so many experience. rich experiences by being part of this great community that we have. I'm going to share with you, there's a couple other resources. If you have trouble sleeping at night, we have this brochure called the Integrated Compensation Plan. It might put you to sleep unless you're a real comp plan person. That'll keep you awake all night. So, but anyway, we've got that for you. We also have our income disclosure statement that if you're interested in looking at that, your coach will get that to you as well. So I just want to say, you know, our motto in OPTAVIA is lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And that's the way that we try to live our lives as coaches. That's what we try to share with other people to help them move forward in their lives. And hopefully this made sense to you. Hopefully, if you came looking, you found something here tonight that you can do. At any event, really appreciate the time that you took to take out of your schedule to be with us tonight. And hopefully I'll get a chance to meet you down the road. So thank you very much. David, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Dan. And on behalf of Susan and Jamil and myself, we just want to say thank you for creating such an amazing compensation plan and business vehicle that's changing so many lives. And it's just the beginning. So be sure to reach back out to the person that invited you. If somebody shared this video with you, be sure you get back to them. And also feel free to share this video and help us to get the word out, because OPTAVIA will become a household name. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.